Hello, welcome back to another sketchbook video. So this one was something I was pretty excited about drawing. It was a character of mine that's in a story I've been writing on a lot recently. And I won't go too much into it, but this is kind of a half form for him. And I don't really think I captured him necessarily, but I hadn't really drawn him properly before anyway, so that wasn't a big deal. And not even really a goal, to be honest. If it had magically happened, that would have been cool, but I wasn't expecting anything wonderful. So, I was sketching pretty quickly on this day, I think because the day before I had drawn, I think, 3 pages in this sketchbook. It was kind of an unproductive day. I had tried and failed multiple times to actually get something done. And I don't have days like this too often, but they do come around and it's very frustrating. I already have a hard time keeping focused most of the time. So, yeah, this day that I was drawing, the day after that, I was just like, I'm going to get a video done today. That's my goal, that's the way it's gonna happen. And I am not going to give in to being ultra unproductive, which was fine. It wasn't a day like the day before anyways. And I was feeling a little bit more warmed up, I think. It wasn't perfect because I've mostly been doing a lot of like sketching simple ink kind of stuff for our X-Tool machine. So yeah, a lot of little paintings and things like that, not a lot of sketching. So this was really nice. My sister and I had recently, for our little business, we did some mouse pads, or I should say mouse mats, I guess. Things like that, and I am so excited for some of the stuff that we have made, and I'm very excited for the stuff we plan to make in the future. Maybe I'll throw some up on screen if you don't mind looking. I just enjoy what we do, so yeah. And then I think I'll be working in March, at least one of my jobs from what I've heard. So that'll be pretty nice, and yeah, it'll take away a little bit of my time, but I do plan on still attempting to make videos when I can, so look forward to that if you enjoy these. We don't have loads and loads of pages left in this sketchbook. I just take this blue pencil and I just use it to refine some of the stuff that I couldn't with that red pencil because it's just way too dull and I cannot see where it's going. So whenever I'm doing really loose sketches with a dull pencil, it's not a big deal, but I have to do like the main details that I don't want to mess up, like the eyes and stuff, with something that's a little bit sharper. And luckily I had this mechanical pencil in my bag. I had actually come locked and loaded this day. I had so much stuff. My backpack was completely full, and I also brought my marker case, my big Tombow case, and of course I had my camera, and I had my bag, and I had my tripod, so yeah, I probably looked like a pack mule, but that's alright. Now, I'm holding my my pencil this way. I do it sometimes, but it helps whenever I'm having pain. And this is not currently a joint problem. This is just a skin problem, I guess. I mentioned that I get chilblains and stuff. Thankfully, they weren't too swollen that day, but they were sore. Actually, today, which is the next day, they are huge and swollen, so I'm glad I kind of missed that for the video because it looks pathetic. It's awful. And I actually cut out a couple parts in the video where you can see I had sun rash. I have sun rash all over right now. We went to lunch with some friends. And I was slightly in the sun for a while in the car, and also when we were standing outside the restaurant yammering at each other afterwards. And so, yeah, I have tons of sun rash because of my allergy. They kind of look like little blisters and things like that. They get pretty gnarly sometimes, and it's on my face and my neck and all the fun stuff. So luckily I cut that out and you don't have to see too much of it. Hopefully none of it. So yeah, this character, he's very, very ancient. He's been lost for a long time. He's not even a main guy. He's very much far side kind of character. He comes up right now for a few pages. It's when you get one of the main characters' backstory a bit. At least you get hints of it. I don't want to go into too much detail yet. They have some strife going on with one of the other characters. And a lot of it is due to this past and some ways that it got handled differently by both characters. So this guy just comes in to kind of like push the story forward a little bit, to give you some insight and to be just kind of cool. There's magic in this world, which is some of my favorite kind of stuff. So yeah, lots of supernatural jazz. It's got werewolves, witches, things like that. So I was pretty stoked to finally get to doing something with this guy, because there's like a lot of protector, like guardian, things like that in the story. And so my witch actually has two main ones. One's a healer and the other is a protector. And the first one, the protector, has been with him for I'm pretty sure the longest. And this guy right here is actually his father. So yeah, I think I drew him a little young. It's okay for him to seem young because they do live pretty much forever. But yeah, well, as long as the magic that they follow stays alive, then they're usually good. Has a lot to do with like ley lines and stuff like that in the story. So yep, pretty stoked. I almost wanted to draw kind of like the background scene and stuff. I've considered it a bunch of times. But we'll see if I ever get to that. I'm pretty busy with other things. But one day I will finish the comic that my sister and I have been working on for a couple years now, that I probably would have nearly had finished in 2022 if I had not ended up getting really busy and working like 10 and 12 and stuff like that hour days nearly every day of the week that year. So one day when I have a little bit more time. Or I can carve out a little bit more time. But yeah, it would be really cool. It would be really cool to get back to that. I miss comics. That is my favorite thing in the world. And then one day I'll try to do one of my own. Maybe. I don't have a lot of confidence in that. Thinking about other people seeing my stories or my characters or whatever makes me very nervous and a bit embarrassed. So not something that I do too often. And even if I do, I don't share too much. I just decided to go over this in ballpoint pen. This is a Muji pen. I've had it for a really long time. I bought it in a set forever ago. So if you're curious, that's what that is. And I think I used that soft touch or soft feel or soft whatever pen as well that I used last time. That's just for, I think, darkening some lines. Yeah, and this one I do the brunt of things with. And then I told you I brought like all my Tombow markers, right? And then I used, I think, zero of them out of the set, and then just my normal grays. And then I have these double-sided ones, these little marker things that my sister and my mom picked up for me a couple years ago, and I always keep them in this little pencil case that came with the backpack that I have. And I really like these. I don't know, they're kind of fun to use. The thinner tip is almost like flexible, so you can get varying line weights with it. And then the other one is just like a really thick bullet nib, and it's really nice to color things in with. So a lot of the earlier stuff in this sketchbook is actually with those. The yellows and stuff like that that are really bright are those. So yeah, I found those in my bag and I was like, hey, the perfect yellow that I've been looking for. So I do use a little bit of yellow. And oh, you know what? I lied a little bit. I used one blue out of that set. That's right. I forgot about that. Otherwise, I would have used nothing and lugged it all the way over here for nada. So, luckily I used one. Just a blue. Because I didn't have the light blue that I wanted in anything else. So, I guess it's a good thing I brought those. On the way over here to do this voiceover, I came up and my dad was kind of doing some stuff with the backhoe and the blade because he needs to move them to a job. My parents own like a road construction company that they've had for years now. And yeah, I was going to do my voiceover, but all the equipment was running. So I'm like, well, I'm going to be here waiting for a little bit. So I'm waiting, and then, he leaves, me and my sister, because she went to help, and forgot my external hard drive that I have everything on. So I had to go all the way back home and get it. So that was cool, but it's okay. I do want to get these ready and posted generally on Tuesday. I mean, I try not to be too harsh about it, but I do like to kind of have things ready. And it's nice to film and stuff up here because it's pretty much always quiet. You'll get kind of the occasional noise of a truck driving by or whatever, but it's pretty consistently quiet, and I think that that's pretty helpful for the voiceovers and pretty helpful for filming the videos. So I don't have to cut out a whole bunch, and then everyone can just hear the pencil sounds and things. Plus, eventually we'll have some internet, and I'll finally be able to do kind of more of this up here. It's so wild how when you're drawing these characters, the second you fully put the eye in, it kind of screams that, like, I don't know, that the character's very inhuman. Which he is. He's more of like a spirit kind of thing. Even when my character comes to talk to him, he has to come as a shade. Because whenever you go into the realms that these bigger beings live in, like some of the greats, they're like so dense with their magic. It's like its own plane. So you can't go there with your physical body. You don't have enough magic in you. It has to take the actual like magic. How do I explain this? all of the magic parts of you that lead up to one half of yourself as a person, it has to separate it out from the physical and then move that shade into that plane. And then there's some people who can't handle it. So if the magic is incompatible, this is a constant thing in the story. If the magic is incompatible, there's like a lot you can't do. And there's like sometimes kind of this backfire of magic. So, for instance, my main character ends up healing somebody, and their magic is, let's say, 85-90% compatible. But because of some stuff that's going on with their magic, some problems in both of their magic, it ends up backfiring and it knocks my main character backwards. Just like from the concussion of it, it just hits him and he goes flying. And so that's kind of the same thing with the worlds. But imagine that happening to your shade, which is like a huge part of your body, your soul, like your spirit as a living being. And then it just like it would just rip it apart, or it would shoot you back into your body. But you would chance going in too deep and not being able to use your magic or missing a part of yourself. So yeah, it's really dangerous, and usually these creatures have to ask your permission. They can't actually forcibly pull you into a plane. But that doesn't happen. And so when he gets yanked into this plane, he knows that this creature is really, really powerful and really, really dangerous. And maybe his protector and his healer would not be able to keep him safe, which is kind of their jobs when you're just a shade because you don't have any of your protections. Because the thing that keeps your magic and everything within your body is the seal of your humanity. At least that's the way it is in the story. So, I don't know if this is dumb or whatever, but so whenever you're just a shade, you need their protection to keep you tethered to your flesh. So, he ends up doing something really dangerous that would make them have to take a step back. And that's, yeah, as you can imagine from what I've explained, it's bad. It's bad juju, man. So it's kind of a cool scene, or it was a really cool scene in my head whenever I was imagining how this place looked and the way that his guardians look. It's so ethereal or something. I don't know. It's really cool. And I wanted to draw it, but I don't know if I have the confidence or the ability to make that happen. Definitely not in like an hour and a half. So, considering how last minute this was, I say last minute, but I had plenty of time. It's just if I was going to do something big, I would like to have days of filming available to me and not just a single day, so that I don't have to rush. And I can do it in a lot of different sessions and be able to get up and kind of move around and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I was really excited about that. Very occasionally, I kind of read out some stuff to like my mom or my little brothers. Kind of rarely just on certain stories, because again, I am a little shy about sharing stuff that I make, stuff that's from my imagination. So, yeah, but sometimes I read it to them and I haven't even read this part and I just keep thinking about it. Though I'm not great at reading out loud. I'm very nervous and it kind of messes with me. And then I have problems with my vision where it kind of like jumps lines and stuff when I'm trying to read and goes to different words. And I don't know what that is, but it's very frustrating. So, yeah. But I'm still very excited about this one story that I have that my brother, I think he read all of the first chapter and he did all of the like soundscaping and stuff. And I've talked about this, but I'm really excited. I'm pretty sure that he finished that part and all he's waiting on is for me to do a couple sketches for the transition between one scene and another. So hopefully I can find a little bit of time to squeeze that in, because I would love for him to be able to post that. He did such a good job. I'm really scared about people hearing my story, and in that one in particular, it's a little bit older, and so it does have a couple run-on sentences and things that I wasn't very proud of. But yeah, I think he did so well. He really practiced, and he's got a great voice, so I'm very excited for that one. Whenever he does do it, I'm really gonna try to remember to post a link here, because I would love for you guys to hear what he did. It's just so cool. If anybody here likes those like fiction podcasts and things, yeah, I think they'd like it. I don't know, unless it's not to your taste, which I can't really say. Probably won't be. I had fun doing all these feathers. I was talking to one of you lovelies on here the other day about how I don't draw singular leaves anymore, and drawing trees really taught me all of this fun stuff, and about simplification. And then I drew a bunch of feathers. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely simplified those wings. There was no way, bro, but yeah. Definitely much easier with tone. But it made me laugh just a little bit. I'm like, yeah, maybe I didn't do as well as I thought I did. Filling in the black on this took forever. I probably should not have even filmed it. It just cannot be interesting to watch me very slowly fill in all the blacks. I'm wondering what kind of video we're going to switch off to whenever I finish this sketchbook. Did I say video? What? I meant sketchbook. Which sketchbook we're going to switch to? Because I have a lot of sketchbooks, as most people do, but I use them for different things, and so, yeah, I usually use my Piccadilly sketchbooks, and I have a few of them. They are just the best. They can handle some watercolor, and they look really nice with inks. Even the nibs, they don't really fan out and get feathery and annoying. I don't think I've really used marker in them, like alcohol marker, so I can't say for sure how it does with those, but I still have the Illo sketchbook, and I won't abandon it. So I'll still try to use marker in that, but I think I might switch to one of my Piccadillys next. They're really nice because they have over like 200 pages or something, if I recall correctly. And then I have a really nice like notebook cover kind of thing. I'm trying to remember who it's from. I know it's a Japanese brand, but I cannot remember who it is. That's besides the point, though. So I have a really nice notebook cover, and it fits on that sketchbook, so that would be nice, because then I can keep it safe and keep it from getting as beat up as this orange one. Because it is secondhand, this orange guy, so it was already a little beat up, but I kind of wish I had had something to put over the top of it just to protect it from damage, because I'm kind of trying to finish it now before it gets really bad. That way it can kind of stand being flipped through and stuff like that in the future. So nice finally getting to put the yellow in here. I imagined it the whole time. I really like it when I put the scars in. And then the scars being black is actually an important thing to the story. Because a lot of the scars that show on the magicals are like their own curses. They're like the stains from things that you've done, especially if you've like, you know, taken a life or, you know, whatever. So it's kind of a big deal, and it's just supposed to show up like a huge ripped ink blot scar thing that not everybody can see, mostly just magicals and whatever. So yeah, right here I don't know how I got so out of focus because I kept reaching up and refocusing my camera to make sure that that didn't happen, and it still freaking happened. So yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I don't think it lasts that long and you can still see what's going on, but looks like I just focused on my hand instead. Getting some darker tones. I was actually having fun with this. I had a little bit better hand control, which is good because I was, you know, using that brush part. So getting between the feathers and getting some nice line weights and things. It was nice. I really do enjoy making these videos, and I'm glad that everyone's liking the sketchbook videos. They do just give me a nice excuse to take a break and scribble, think about my stories, and sometimes just be mindless, which I really enjoy. That guy in the upper right, I really messed up getting that face the same. And I can see where I messed up the proportions, and even when I was doing the sketch, watching back through the video, I could see where I made my mistakes. Which is weird because I could see it right away really, really quickly, but in the moment, that just was not there. I mean, I guess he does look very similar to the one on the lower left. Maybe the middle one's actually the outlier. So here we are doing the scar. Just trying to be very, very careful. Leave kind of like the waterline in the eye. I struggled with the idea of possibly even making the eye completely black as well. But I just kind of scrapped that. I really like the white. So I think it just plays well with the contrast, and it makes the scar stand out a little bit more. Darkening some lines. The soft feel pens, the big ones, they're much easier to do the line weight with in comparison to the Muji pen. I love the Muji pen because it doesn't gel up too bad, and it actually has like a nice thin tip, and it works quite well. So, but this guy is really, really nice. They're nice to sketch with. The big pens are very nice to sketch with. Throwing in the date, 24th, and then today's the 25th, so I didn't do much else that day. So I hope you really like this. I enjoyed making this page. It was a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think. Sorry about the spiel of all of the weird magic stuff and rules in my story. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day or night, and bye.